Welcome to episode 4 of our IBM Security Verified Governance webinar series. In this episode, we're going to cover one of the core features of the governance platform, that's certification campaigns. So, what exactly is a certification campaign? Well, it's a way of asking the user community to revalidate that the access levels they have been granted are still appropriate, or that accounts are still required, or that roles and permissions are published appropriately. Today, we're going to focus on the use case that covers revalidating the access levels that have been assigned to our user community. In my fictional world, Zachary Clements has just received an email stating that he has been chosen as a campaign reviewer for our office location access review. In effect, this review is for those people who have full access to all office locations. This isn't a surprise to Zachary. He is the manager of a team of people whose functions include desktop support, and they are frequently visiting office locations all the time. Let's log in as Zachary, and we'll take a look and see what it is that we're expected to do. On our dashboard, we can see the office location access review is available for us to work on, so we'll select that. I'm now presented with a list of people that I have to recertify, but maybe I'm not 100% sure what it is I'm expected to do just now, so let's inspect Dennis Dillard. So I can see here that Dennis Dillard, we're being asked to revalidate the entitlement full access. Full access gives him the ability to go to any office location within our functional organization. I know he's part of our server administration team and desktop support, so I'm quite happy to say, yes, I'm going to approve that. If I go back to my list, we can see that the progress for Dennis Dillard is now sitting at 100% because we've completed our actions. I can see Xantha Olsen. Let's inspect their entitlements. And again, we're being asked to revalidate full access. Now, Xantha is not really a desktop support person. In fact, they are a mainframe engineer and should be locked away in the basement and never allowed out at all. So I'm going to revoke this access and say not appropriate for your role. Before we move on to working out how we set up our recertification campaigns, I want to just introduce you to IBM's next generation console. This isn't a console that is widely available at the minute, and it's only really focused on the certification campaigns. And it's almost a teaser as to what you might be able to expect in the future. So I'm going to log out of this console, and we will be presented with our standard login page again, where you will see login to Service Center brackets new. This is the new version of the Service Center. It's not enabled by default, but I have enabled it in my demonstration environment. We're now presented with a very different interface, but this is an interface that is a common interface across a number of the IBM Security Verified products. I'm going to click on Task Manager at the top, and I can see my access certification campaign for the office location access review. I'll select this, and you can see that the way that things are being laid out is very different from before. I get more details as to exactly what it is that I'm trying to review up here in the top. I can filter on my users down the left hand side, and I will be presented with those people who actually need reviewing or who have been completed already. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and approve Joel Farley. Still requires access his desktop support. So we've seen approvals, revocations, and we've also taken a quick look at the new console that is up and coming. But let's take a look now at our administration console and see how these certification campaigns are constructed. So we log out as Zachary Clements. We'll go to our administration console and log in as our super user. Campaigns are managed inside our Access Governance core. We've got two tabs in here within the Configuration tab that cover the certification campaign setup. The first one is the certification campaign definition itself. So in here we've got the campaign name, what type of campaign it is, the data set that is used for the campaign, and we'll come to that in a minute, and also what kind of approval process we should undertake. We can see who the supervisors for the campaign are. We can see who the reviewers are. In this case, it's the managers of those people who form part of the dataset. We can also define how we fulfill any of the revocations. In my environment, I'm just performing a logical deletion. In effect, that gives us a report as to what should be done at the end of the campaign, but we could perform an actual physical deletion for those provisioning targets that we have an integration path with. I can schedule my campaign to start at a particular time, end at a particular time, and also have a frequency attached to it. I can select the notifications that need to be sent out to the users as well. If we go back to the Details tab, remember I said there was a certification data set here, Office Location Access, which is grayed out at the minute because this campaign is active. Let's take a look at that data set though. So if I select Certification Datasets, the Office Location Access, in here I've got a name for the dataset and then a number of tabs at the top that help us define which entitlements or users or groups of users should be included in this dataset. It's quite straightforward this. We have a whitelist and a blacklist, and as you can imagine, anything in the whitelist gets included in the campaign, anything in the blacklist gets excluded. By default, everything is included. It's an implicit whitelist for absolutely everything unless you start to add things in here. So in this campaign, I've got nothing in the whitelist, nothing in the blacklist, so all groups of people are included. If I look at my users, I've got nothing on my whitelist, so in effect everyone is included. But I do have someone in my blacklist, and that is Cersei Lannister. In my fictional world, we cannot challenge her authority, so we've explicitly excluded her from this campaign. We do not want anything that she has access to be taken away from her, in effect. From an application perspective, everything is in effect whitelisted. We've got nothing in our blacklist. And then we come to our entitlements. And in here, I have requested that full access on the application Office Patrol is the thing that we really want to focus on. Okay, so the full access entitlement on the Office Patrol application gives people in my fictional world the ability to go into any office at any location. I could add other entitlements into my recertification campaign if I wanted, but this is a very much targeted campaign, and that is a good thing to do if you think about it. We don't want to necessarily recertify absolutely everything that has been assigned to all users within our organization. Some entitlements might be as simple as access to the meal distribution group for the five-a-side football team who meets on a Thursday night, and we probably don't really care who is a member of that group. So I would say that to avoid some kind of click fatigue for your reviewers, probably best to focus on those entitlements which bring an element of risk to your organization. I'm sure your auditors will be able to help you define which entitlements should be reviewed and how frequently. So what have we covered today? I've shown you how a recertification campaign will look for an end user, the reviewer. You've seen how they can approve the entitlements that have been assigned to their direct reports, and you've also seen how entitlements can be revoked. You've had a sneak peek at the new console that has appeared in version 10 of this product, and presumably that will expand in the next version or two to encompass other elements of the service center. You've seen how we define a certification campaign, and you've also seen how we set up the dataset that makes part of that certification campaign. To learn more about certification campaigns, please visit our website at www.madigansolutions.com. Thanks for watching, and be sure to look out for the next episode.